Hi family, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Coach Gabby once again, and today I'm going to be talking about the differences between a CV, resume and cover letter. Okay, for most of you, I'm all familiar with CV, and that's curriculum vitae, and we all know what CV is used for. CV is used to apply for jobs, and to when maybe you want to apply for a job application, scholarships and all that. CV is required, and a lot of us are more familiar with CVs, most especially if you're in countries where CV is mostly used, and for some other countries resume is used mostly, but people get it confused. A lot of people don't know the differences between CV and resume and when to use both, and some people don't even know that cover letter is also important. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining the three terms, what they mean, and the differences between CV and resume, and how you can use them and when you need to use them. All right, so before I continue, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, comment, and please share with your friends that might need this information. Thank you. Welcome back. So let's dive into the topic for today. What is a CV? What is a resume? What is cover letter? Let's dive into it. All right, so for CV means curriculum vitae, right? And it's a Latin word that means course of life. That means everything about your life, your professions, your professional experiences, your work experiences, your certifications, your trainings you've gone through, publications and everything. That is all you need to put in your CV. And CV is much more detailed compared to resume. A resume means summary. CV is an expanded summary, an expanded version of a resume. So there are two different things. When it comes to CV, you need to add the achievement, publications, like I said earlier, and so many other things that is related to what you've achieved for so many years. In fact, some starts from as back as secondary school and all that. But for resume, it's a summary. It's the summary of your work experience, your professional experience that is tailored towards a specific job application. Maybe, for example, let's say you're applying for a job that is related to digital marketing. That means that for a resume, you have to put in the professional experiences, trainings, work experience that is related to just digital marketing. Something that you can relate with digital marketing, right? That is all you need to put in your resume. But when it comes to CV, you include all your experience, whether they are related to to digital marketing or not. You have to include everything in your CV. So I don't want to confuse you. When it comes to CV highlights the general talent of a candidate rather than the specific, skills that is needed for a specific position. But when it comes to resume, it has to be tailored towards that specific, job application. Like just like the example that I gave earlier, when it comes to digital marketing, everything related to digital marketing has to be in your resume. And for some companies, they specifically request for a resume instead of a CV. So you have to know the difference. So if you are meant to submit a CV for a job application, make sure that it includes every details about you. And when you are meant to submit a resume for a job, then you have to make sure that it is specific, tailored. And that is why we have different resumes, prepared for different job applications. Why CV people use it people can use CV for different job applications because it's all encompassing. You have every details experience, whether administration or you did customer service or you did different roles, you put it in your CV because that is CV for you. But when it comes to resume, it is choosy, it is picky, and it's tailored towards a specific position. Now let's talk about cover letter. What is cover letter? All right, so cover letter, some companies of some requests for cover letter, application letter, they are likely the same thing. Sometimes you see application letter, sometimes you see cover letter. A cover letter is an overview of your background in terms of work experience, what you have done that is tailored towards, that job that you're applying for. Let's say now you want to write a cover letter to apply for a digital marketing position. You have to talk about your background in digital marketing or what you have done. Let's say you've worked as a content writer, you've worked as a page manager, you've done something that is related to digital marketing. Even if it's not digital marketing, it's how you communicate your values in your cover letter that actually determines whether you will be, considered for that position. Because the main reason why recruiters, hiring managers, organizations ask for cover letter is to see the way you can communicate what you have, even if it's little or if it's much. It depends on how you can communicate. That's why you see people that don't even have much experience getting a job, while people with much experience don't have a job. It depends on how you communicate the little that you have. Even if you don't have much experience in that field, there's a way you communicate it in your cover letter that makes you a best fit for the job. So it's much more about communicating what you possess, the skills you have done, the works you have done, and how they align to the attributes or the values that you are bringing to that particular organization. Okay, so that is all about cover letter or application letter, right? So let's look at the differences between a CV and the resume. So the first difference is that is glaring, that people can see at the first instance of checking a CV and resume, is the length. When it comes to CV length, it's kind of longer than a resume. Why? The reason is because CV contains everything about you, your professional qualifications, everything that has to do with you is on your CV. But when it comes to resume, it is tailored, and that's why it's shorter in length. It is specific, and that's why most foreign countries request for resume, because they just want to go straight to the point. They want to know if you're a best fit or not. They want to see whether you have qualifications, you have the achievement, you have the skills and all that. And that's why on resume, your skills come first, your core competencies come first. Everything that has to do with job should come first, and not those things that are irrelevant for resume. And for CV, you have to include every details about you, starting about your educational experience, your work experience, your publications, what you have done. CV is more particular about the experiences that you've garnered over the years, the intelligence, the knowledge that you've garnered over the years. That is what your CV is more particular about. But when it comes to resume, it is tailored, so that's why the length is kind of shorter than for resume, and the CV is much longer. And for someone that has like 5 to 10 years experience, your CV should not be longer than 3 pages, except if you have a long qualifications of over 20 year experiences or more. And for your resume, 1 to 2 pages is enough for resume, except you have experiences that are much more longer and are relevant to that job application. Another difference is that CV is constant, because you have everything about you there. So when a CV is requested for different job application, you can submit your CV for different job applications. But when it comes to resume, it is specific towards that particular applications. If you are applying for digital marketing, customer service, sales, at the same time, that means you have to have a resume for sales and marketing. You have to have a resume for digital marketing, customer. They have to be tailored, except there is a way you can align the 3 to work for that particular role. And that's what I do for most of my clients. I help them to prepare a resume they can use for 3 jobs at the same time. There are ways to do these things, okay? But your CV is always constant, while your resume changes because of the job, applications, right? And another thing is that there is a structure your CV follows due to, the way it is being wired, right? There is a part that you need to follow when it comes to CV, and that's to be arranged in chronological order. But when it comes to resume, like I said, the most relevant details to the specific position is more important. That should come first. Even if it's your skills, even if it's your training and certification, it will come first. So it changes when it comes to resume. But for CV, it's constant. You can't change it, because that's the way it's been arranged. And these people that are requested, and the companies, the organizations, the individuals that are requested for your CV, they already know the format, and that's what they will follow. And another difference is that publications are needed you can put your publications on CV, the links to your publications, the book, what you have published on your CV. But for resume, they are not needed. They are not always needed for resume, except you are into something that is kind of tech and you need link to prove your works and all that. But for CV, you can list your publication, you can list link, you can put links, but for resume, they are not really needed. And another difference that you should know, for resume, you don't need to list out your references. I see a lot of resume these days, and I keep asking, is this a resume or a CV? Because for your resume, you don't need to list references. The recruiter asks for a reference, or manager or whatsoever is asking for a reference, then you prepare a separate document. And these days you have to be very careful of putting references on your CV or resume to keep the information of your referees, so that they don't, we are in the days whereby people are being scammed because of their information. So I always advise people not to put their references details, except you're applying for a government job, a federal government job, which is highly needed, or for a bank. There are some jobs that that they are legit, and they deal with promotion promotion and all that, and they might need a referee. Like banking job, you are going to banking, into law and all that, you might need to add your references. But for some job, it's not actually needed, and you need to keep the details of your referees. You need to keep their details. You need to, keep them from being scammed and all that. That difference is that it's more advisable to use a CV when you're applying for a research position, a PhD position. You're applying for an academic, anything related to academic research, scholarships, you need a CV. But when it comes to jobs and specific jobs, you need your resume. So basically, your CV is all about you, while your resume is more about the job. So next time you are submitting your CV or resume for a job, I want you to have all these points at the back of your mind and make sure that you are doing the right thing. And so also note that not all countries accept CVs and not all countries accept resumes. So you have to read instructions of your job applications before you apply for them. And I hope that you've gotten much values from this particular video, and you're going to share with your friends and people around you so that they can know the differences between resume, CV and cover letter, and do the needful. And this is more important for job seekers all over the world. You need to know about these differences, and also you need to be particular about the kind of format that you send out there. And I'm going to talk about formats for resume, formats for CV, and how to write an ATS standard resume, how to write a cover letter, and I'm very sure that you're going to enjoy it. All right, I hope you've gotten much value from this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please like, comment and share with your friends. All right, bye.